Hey YouTube, it's JP Dillon. Today we're going to look at something pretty cool. This is a mid-60s JVC, also known as Delmonico. This is the AW-6000. This is a multiband transistorized radio receiver. In fact, it actually could be more like early 60s. This thing is an absolute beast. This radio is 15 pounds. 15, and that's not even with batteries in it. 15-pound radio. Just to give you a reference, a gallon of milk's about 11 pounds. So here it is, and as you can see, it looks very much like a Zenith Transoceanic or a Panasonic of this era, maybe a Sony. It's got, goodness, 6 bands. So we've got a long wave, an AM, 3 short waves, and an FM. It's chrome, just dripping chrome everywhere. And this is glass. This isn't plastic. This is glass. So very snazzy. You've got a tuning meter there, your FM AFC, your very easy to move tuning here, which is almost effortless. Your Delmonico International, which has got your JVC emblem there. This belongs to a good friend, and he wanted to get it working. 11 transistors, 6 band, made in Japan. And you've got your little time zone thing here, or you can dial in where you're going to be listening to at what time, and it'll tell you where you can pick things up at. And let's take a look at the back here. Oh! So there we are. And you can see here it's got full size IF cans. Thankfully, I don't think those are the ones that are prone to get silver mica disease. The rest of this is kind of covered. We've got our pull-up antennas here. This cover here is plastic. Let's remove the screws and take a better look on the inside. Just get the camera mounted a little bit better here. Because I know everyone kind of likes the suspense of taking these apart. Anyway, the problem of it is that it looks like it's had some kind of a adapter attached to it, which isn't a very a robust adapter. It's only rated for about 300 milliamps max, which in theory that could work with this. I can't really see this drawing a third of an amp unless it were at maximum volume, but who knows. At worst, we can always supply it with external power and see if that's it too. Almost. There we go. And so we take this away. There's a fairly elaborate tuning condenser in here. This is a, what's that? 1, 2, 3 gang? 3 gang condenser here. There's all of your tuning coils for the oscillator and RF section. But he's got this thing here kind of patched in. And then if we look up in here, hard to tell what this is. You got this ground bus looking thing that's clamped up here. But then that feeds into this wire here, which then goes down, spliced into the RF thing here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't do this because I know he doesn't do that kind of sloppy work. Yeah, that's attached to the RF input. So it's some sort of makeshift antenna, and it could be factory. I've never seen one of these before. It just looks really, really shoddily done. But you can, down here is your audio amplifier. There's your interstage driver transistor or transformer. You've got your 2 output transistors here. Lots of oil caps that are probably dead. The rest of it all underneath here is looks like ceramic disc capacitors, so that's good. There's a couple of electrolytics in there. See, I'm not really sure what's going on here. We need to fire it up and find out. And it's hard to see back here, but he's got this adapter wired into a switch. So, yeah, we might have to dig up a schematic on this and figure out what's going on with it. But let's turn it on and let's see what it does. Alright, so clicky clicky. So we got hum there, which tells me that the adapter probably isn't a great choice. It's not very well filtered, or it's trying to draw way more than it should. Let's see, what band are we on? This is FM. I don't think the oscillator's running. It's just noise. Let's go to... Nothing from AM or shortwave either. Oh, we had something there.
You're the thickness you want? Yeah.
690. Where's 600? There it is. Sensitivity is really weak. That should be pegging the meter all the way up. Yeah, so something wrong there.
They are still
Almost no upper band at all. So that's not good. We do have our AM. Nothing on shortwave or anything, and FM is just noise. So it looks like we got our work cut out for us. And we have an oscillation on power down, so that definitely suggests that there's some capacitors that aren't quite right. It's also important to note that in the time I run this thing, this transformer's gotten a little warm, so it's definitely not doing its job. So I think what we need to do is focus on getting this guy out of here. That's even possible. Alright, so we have... I've already pulled the knobs off the front. Here's the set screws for the band switch knob. And we'll loosen these and get the band switch knob off. And pull the antennas up. We'll see what's required to get this thing out of the hole here. Looks like it's just screws along the side here. We've got these. We've got one here. That one's missing. And this one up top. And then in theory, we should be able to pull this chassis out. But, you know, this thing's going to make a fool out of me. That's usually how it goes. It never comes out like it appears it does. If the screws fall down, they fall down. Some of them want to stick and the other ones don't. Alright, we got this one up here. And let's come over here. So we definitely know someone's worked on this before. We don't really have a service history, and he bought it secondhand, so it's not known who did this work with the power adapter and whatever else. Alright, so with those chassis screws out, looks like we can slide things back. Let's unplug this. And we got some sort of electrical tape mess up in here. What is that? Somebody's homemade something using LM386 audio amplifier chip. So obviously the output stage ain't a-working, because somebody did that. I mean, yeah, you can do that, but preferably not. Let's unplug this. And let's see here. We're starting to come out. What else am I still attached to here? Okay, it looks just like the weird RF antenna stuff is the only things left. And let's see here. We make a couple notes here on the side of where these wires go. So, this is the big white wire here. And we'll just unsolder this. This wire is much newer, so I assume that it's definitely been replaced, as is this one has. He's spliced into that one. Let's see here. And then this is all electricians taped up. I'm not happy with this. He's got it right next to these ultra fine coil wires. In fact, one of them is here, and it's just kind of floating there in the distance and might have been attached to something. So, yeah, I'm not really happy about this at all. For the sake of simplicity, I can always reattach this wire later. Same with this jankified mess here. At least he soldered this. I mean, I'll give him that, but no heat shrink or nothing, just electrician's tape. Ooh, Bell telephone wire. Classy. Solder didn't take to that. Alright, so now I should be able to lift this free. And then, of course, there's the fantastic adapter here. I think for troubleshooting purposes, I'm just going to use my regulated power supply because this thing buzzes like crazy. So far, I'm not really thrilled about this mess. Those weren't even soldered. That was just put together, you know? All right. Now we can get the cabinet off the deck here. Just going to bump the camera a bunch more times so everybody gets motion sickness here. It's been 15 minutes just to get inside of this thing. Yeah. Stay classy. So, the first thing I notice here is this LM386, which looks like he's got it from the takeoff point here, and it's patched in through the driver stage here to the output. He's got it through the output pins. So this is This was an attempt to get sound after he gave up on it, really. Well, let's see what else we gotta deal with. And so far up in there's one electrolytic there, that 10 microfarad there, and then there's a 3 microfarad there. And then there's 2 electrolytics here in the audio stage. This one here, which is a buffer for the power, which has a negative ground, which is kind of weird. And then we come up here looking around for other stuff. So this is like 99% disc capacitor, which is good. And then we got that thing there, that fat transformer, which is probably your audio output. That'd be my guess. And it's hard to say what the LM386 was for. This is like a half-watt audio amplifier. Or maybe it's a preamp. I don't even remember. We're just going to unravel more electrical tape. Sure is a lot of it in this thing. And this stuff has started to decompose, so it's all nice and slimy. Makes this even better. So, I mean, somebody took the time to put a socket on here and build this circuit. But I just wonder, you know, what for? Was the audio amp dead? Was it another problem? Well, regardless, for sure we're going to have to do some troubleshooting. Obviously, the number one problem is the complete and utter lack of volume. Oh, I see another electrolytic tucked way up in here. This is probably part of the AVC or AGC circuit here, that's going to be a nightmare to get to. Thankfully, only one. You can't even really see it. It's in the deep darkness of the IF strip there. And then, I don't know if you can even see it, but there is a ultra fine wire. Yeah, there's an ultra fine wire which is snaking up against this main lead here and terminates inside of this bit of shrink tubing here. Let me get some light into this thing and see if I can't see it. So far, this is not looking so good. All right, so he's just got that tiny piece of wire looped around this thing here. And then that then goes, that's looped around this thing over here. So there's no electrical connection. So what was the purpose of this? No idea. That is the weirdest thing. Okay, so what we really need to do is get ourselves a schematic diagram, because I ain't flying this one blind, that's for sure. And we need to figure out, first of all, what sort of janky mess happened with the audio stage, and get that problem resolved. And figure out why our AM sensitivity is so awful. And then we need to figure out why our FM oscillator isn't working. So this one's definitely going to be a multi-part. It's definitely going to have a lot that needs to be done to it. So this is going to be a challenge for sure. But yeah, let's just toss a random LM386 in there. He probably got frustrated, or maybe the driver stage transformer's open, or the output transformer's open. So we have to look at that and not just rip the thing out of the circuit without first seeing why it was done. Because people do things for a reason, And you don't just want to assume that maybe the guy was an idiot and he didn't understand the circuit and that's why he stuck it in there. But maybe there was actually something wrong. So we'll look at that as part of the next episode. This has been the assessment part of it. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video and more stuff to come.